having said that, let's just start with a new document here. I'm going to get rid of this one. And don't want to save that. But cheeseburgers are one of the best foods ever, right?
Yeah, that and pizza.
Pizza. I love pizza. We should have written about pizza. That's funny. All right, so we're just going to start off in a normal style right now. Okay? So we got normal. We're not going to do any modifications to it. I just wanted to show you that. Up here in the paragraph, we learned a little bit about this yesterday, but we have our line spacing right here. So if we want to start off by default, and this drives some people crazy, Word 2010 starts with a 1.15 space. It's like, come on, fish or cut bait. Go to 1.5 or stay at 1. But why this 1.15? It drives us all crazy. So if we look at this, this would be a single space. This would be a space and a half. This would be double space. We can change any of these things that we'd like to from here. We're going to go ahead and make this a double spaced paper because that's what APA and MLA both use. And I'm going to right mouse click and say update normal to match selection. So now from here on out, everything in the normal font is going to be double spaced. Good. And then also by default in Word, there's a space after every paragraph. It gives us a little extra of a return hit. There's like 6 points of text there. I'm just going to remove that. So I click remove, and I'm going to right mouse click this and say remove, or update, excuse me, update normal again. So we've matched that selection. Now, in your last class, did you guys learn about headers and footers at all?
Yeah.
What is a header? What's special about a header?
Give me the page number, your name.
Well, you can put stuff in it, but why is it special compared to the rest of the document?
Because
It goes on every page. Whatever we put in the header will go to every page after. So when we want to get into the header, we just double tap up on the top. That's my favorite way to get there. It's nice and simple and quick. I'll zoom out just a little bit here. One more zoom. So we can just double tap and get into the header. And if we wanted to, for instance, in this one, I think we're going to type in the person's name. So we're going to put, I think it's Marino. Yeah. Marino, space, and I want to put in a page number. Now, if I put a 1, if I just type in number 1 in here, it's going to put 1 on every page, right? But we'll notice that once we go into the header and footer, we get this design tab comes out, and we can insert something like a page number. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a page number. I have found, just personally, that in Word 2010, it drives me crazy if I try to find the top of the page or whatever. I just use current position because all these other ones will erase everything else up there. So I just say put the plain number, and it will put it wherever I am right that time. If I wanted to, did you see how I did that? Jennifer looked a little confused. That's all right. If I go up to page number, I'm in this header and footer design, go to page number, and go down to current position, and then select plain number. Right here. Click on that, and notice it comes up, says Marino 1. We learned yesterday about justification. If we want to right justify this and put it on the right side of the page, we're going to hit Control what?
R.
Control R. I love that. Okay. Now, if we want to get out of the header, we're going to have to hit up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start. No, just kidding. We just double click out. We don't need 30 extra lives on the Konami code. And we come down. Now, up to this point, we should all have just a blank thing here. I hate using word processor without a ruler. If you notice there's no ruler up there, I like my rulers. So if we want to toggle the rulers, it's right up here. In this corner, there's this little button. We're going to click that. And notice that now we get rulers on the top and on the side. This is great because it shows us right now I have a 1-inch margin. I can tell just by looking at it because I can see the measurements. And we get all these fun little tools that they've given us that we didn't have before. We're going to get into those tools after we type in the person's name. If you're following along, I'm on page 79 right now. So let's go ahead and type in the rest of Annalisa's information. This is Annalisa Marino. She's in Mr. Winter's class, English 101. And it's April 4th. We're on page 79. And the title of this paper is Can You Find Me Now? Control Z.
I did.
And delete it?
Exit out of my key.
You hit Control N, didn't you?
No.
You keep doing that. No, no.
No, I didn't. I really didn't hit it this time.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
It's there somewhere then.
No. It's not. It's not here.
Now, I don't believe we have too many of these shortcut keys on our quiz coming up this weekend, but on page 81 is another great selection of shortcut keys you might want to remember. And if we want to center a line, we're going to hit what? Center justification. Control what? E. Center. That's great. So we can just go to that line, hit Control E, center justifies. That's great. Now, if we didn't do that, of course, just like we were talking about yesterday, people would probably start hitting spacebar trying to get it, exactly there. We don't want to do ghetto Excel. We want to do, or ghetto Word. We want to do regular Word. Right from here, we've started our paper. Since I'm scared and I don't want autosave to take over, I'm going to save it, and I'm going to do that how, Jennifer? What's my control key to save? Control S. There we go. So we're going to just call this one. I'm going to stick mine on the desktop so I can erase it later. I'm going to call this one, Can You Find Me Now, right? Oh, triangulation paper is what I'm going to call this one. Triangulation paper. You have to be able to spell triangulation to save it as that.
Close enough.
That's close enough. So now let's talk about our cool little tools that we got with our wonderful rulers that we just pulled up. You'll notice that there's a white space in the ruler. That's the space with which we will be typing in. The dark space is our margin. We have an upside down triangle and a regular, like, right side up triangle, and then this left indent. If I grab this top triangle and I drag it in, this is changing my first line indent, which means every time I type something, so I'm going to put, this is a test to see if the left side first line indent tool will work, because I have to type a long sentence to get this here. Here we go. So you notice that I started typing and it's already kind of tabbed in automatically. I didn't have to hit tab. When I hit enter to my next paragraph, it's automatically right there.
So it's just for indenting?
Yeah, first line indent. Okay. Now, if you wanted to tab, a default tab in Microsoft Word is set for every ½ inch. But if I wanted to make my tab somewhere else, so when I hit the tab key, it indented to a certain point in my paper, I can just come up to this ruler and click like right here, and notice I get this little black thing up here, this little black L. That little square, I guess it would be more like a black square. That little, what?
Corner.
Yeah. If I hit tab, notice now it jumped right in line with that. And I can move this thing, I can grab it and move it over here. And then, oh, I got rid of it, sorry. I can move it over here. And notice that wherever I move that first tab is fine. I can add as many tabs as I want, actually, though. I can put another one in here, put another one in here. And as I do this, it will start using that as my tab, right? Every tab just jumps to that point where I put it at. If I've added a tab and I don't want it, I just click on it, drag it out, and it deletes. Click on it, drag it out, it deletes. Click on it, drag it out, it deletes. And then I'm stuck with my normal tabbing, which is every ½ inch. Okay? But those are just some tools that are up here. If you want to reverse this and you want the first line to stick out farther than the rest of it, we can do that. We just grab this bottom triangle right here and we move it over here. Oh, I've got to highlight my text because I'm changing stuff here. So we're going to grab this one, we're going to move it over here, and notice now my first line will follow this triangle and my second line will follow the bottom triangle. Okay? So those are just a few little tools just so you know what's going on up here with this. Let me just back all this out so we're back to blank. I did a lot of, there we go. So I did a lot of tabs there. So we're going to write this paper, we're going to continue on with it. We've got our first line indent, and we're going to say the text is on page 84. How's the Nintendo Wii console able to determine location of a Wii remote while a player interacts with a game? Question mark. The answer is triangulation. A process that determines, and we're going to do the Dumb and Dumber TEH, T-E-H. And don't hit space after T-E-H. I want you to get to here. We're going to intentionally misspell the, and we're not going to hit space. I was noticing yesterday I have like a bald spot right here when I turn this way on the camera. So,
Oh, I thought you knew about that. I would have.
no, I know, but
Oh,
it's just my hair is really short, so I'm like, whack. No, it's not. The vertigo's helping. No. All right, we're close. Terry's like, hold on. So if we get to this TEH, I just want everybody to see this cool little thing that's going to happen. If I hit TEH, then I hit space,
Changes that.
it automatically changes TEH to the. Now, this is not something limited to what Word has given us. If you, for instance, have a problem, like I have a company, Individualize, okay? Every time I type the word individual, it's just automatic now. It comes out individualized. So it drives me crazy. But I cannot type in a paper and say the individual. It says the individualize. It just happens. It's just automatic and it's just robotic. But I've set up my word so if I capitalize individualize, it keeps it. If I have it lowercase, it automatically changes it to individual. Okay? Because that's typically what I mean. We can do the same thing. If you have a particular problem with a word and you just don't spell it right every single time, put it in an autocorrect. It will correct it. And in fact, so if we look at this, this is called autocorrect. As we highlight over this, notice that there's this little blue line that appears at the bottom of the. As we hover over that, it says Autocorrect Options. We can change it back. We can stop automatically correcting it. Or we can go to the Control Autocorrect Options. That's the one we want to pick right now. This will open up. One of my favorites I use all the time is that copyright symbol. Did you know if you do parentheses, C in parentheses, it'll make it a copyright symbol? Those are autocorrects that it's doing. And in fact, if you have your own business and you deal with any kind of customer support, we deal with the same like 20 questions over and over and over again. It's really annoying, right? But we have a list of them. And if somebody asks the question, my staff, they can just type in, I can't remember the exact term, but they type in like question 1 space and it spits out 3 paragraphs because we've just typed it in as an autocorrect. Okay? If, for instance, you were to put on my computer, Mr. Greer, wait, is it, Greer? I think, oh, you know what? I think I removed it. Let's say, for instance, if I go up to my autocorrect, I am so tired of having to type my name because when I type my name, I should replace Mr. Greer with the stud, right?
Oh, wow.
That's what should happen.
Really?
When I come back out, now watch what happens. If I type Mr. Greer, bink, automatically it calls me what I am. No, so it comes out as the stud from here on out. So we can do this with any, like if you have a problem with the word determine or something, like anything that's not in there, you can set Microsoft Word up, and you should, to help you. It's a tool. We don't have to just be stuck with what the defaults are. Just take 2 seconds, and if you're struggling with something, just put in the autocorrects for it, and from there on out, you're going to be like, thank you. That was the easiest thing ever because you don't have to go change the spelling and all that stuff. So before I do this, because I typed in Mr. Greer one time on something and it came up as the stud, I couldn't change that. Yeah, let me go to autocorrect and say stop automatically correcting that. Yeah. So let's yeah, so you can replace it with whatever you want. It's good, huh? All right, so let's keep going. We're going to finish the text on 85. So the answer is triangulation, a process that determines the location of an object by measuring the angles from 2 or more fixed points. Enter. Great. So we just figured out how to do that autocorrect. We can also, if you want to just make up an autocorrect without having one that's already done, we can go up to the File tab, and down here under Info, it's right here under Options. This is kind of a harder way to get there. So just misspell the. That's my favorite way to get there. But you can come down here to autocorrect. Is it proofing? Yes, Autocorrect Options. If you get all the way into here, here's your button to get into that same place where we just were.
Or you can misspell that.
Or you can misspell it. And by the way, as long as we're here, yesterday how I told you everybody should be auto-saving at 10 minutes. If you want to go in like me and save it every 4, because I lost that one paper, you can change this number down to 4. I wouldn't go very much less than 4 because sometimes your computer starts like working on the save all the time. But I've just found that 4 minutes, I don't see it, I still don't hear it, but it saves a lot more frequently than every 10 minutes. I'm going to cancel out of that.
Auto save button that?
Auto save.
How
Oh,
did we change?
How do you get it to where the dots?
wait, one question at a time.
That was the same one.
How do you get it where the dots are in the middle of each?
That is reveal codes right here, this little paragraph symbol.
Right.
I did that yesterday. That's how we can show that there's dots in there, and it shows us exactly what we're doing with our paper. Jen, what was your question?
I thought we had the same question. We were way off. How did you get up there to the save thing? I was still working on mine.
We're going to go File,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going to go to Info. Make sure you're on this Info, and then you go down to Options, excuse me. And that is under Proofing. And then we have Autocorrect right here. So on page 88, we are going to enter some more information, and I'm going to say, please enter this information, then we're going to take our break. So the information is surveyors, is that right? Yeah, surveyors often use measure distance length once you get here.
Do you mean to spell then wrong?
Nope.
Okay.
Should be spelled correctly. Once you get that little thing done, let's take our brief break here.